Hello, and thank you for joining me today to learn about Excel Interface. Excel Interface is an innovative new product that fully automates the updating of Excel spreadsheets. This allows you to make Microsoft Excel, with all its incredible features and functions, your front-end reporting design tool for all your production reports. The first step to using Excel Interface is to tag a spreadsheet. We open the main menu, go to Tag Spreadsheet under Master Copy, and we'll tag the spreadsheet. Notice that there's an extensive help menu associated with all the features of Excel interface. This will guide you through the tagging process as well as describing all the various different tags that are available to you. In this case, we have a date and two tables that need to be updated. There's dummy data in both the tables, and this is a requirement of Excel interface. There are some simple totals as well as some simple formulas. All of the cells in this table have been enclosed in borders. This tells Excel interface that this will be a grid, and so to populate the new data in the final report in a certain way. This is also very helpful when you're using the Excel templates to create reports. Notice also that the first two cells have been merged. This tells Excel interface that if the data in these two cells repeats in the final report, then to merge the cells. This helps if they are both titles. In the second table, notice that the vertical columns are yellow. This tells Excel interface that in the final report not to print these borders. Finally, notice that there's a chart already associated with this table. Excel interface will immediately know there's a chart here and treat it in a certain way. To create a tag, we simply double click on the first line where the data is going to be pasted. Notice it says grid 1. That's because it was enclosed in borders. You can call it anything you want, but that name must appear in the data file. And we can simply create tag, but I'd like to show you all the grid help menus. There are a significant number of different ways you can facilitate the creation of professional looking reports using the grid process. So double click, create tag. Double click. In this case, we're going to insert as our option. We'll create tag, and then go to the date. Again, notice all the different tag types we have available. In this case, it's going to be a date. We create tag, we close, save the changes. Now we can actually exit from Excel interface because we won't be using it directly again. The tags have already been created, and that's a one-time process. The key feature of Excel interface is that it can run in batch mode. To the best of our knowledge, there is no other Excel automation tool that can run in batch mode. This means that you can have hundreds of reports produced according to any schedule you want without anyone ever having to manually open Excel and update the reports. There's just a few very simple lines of code here, and this is generated by Excel interface automatically. What's more, Excel interface will automatically generate the code necessary to run Excel interface directly from a SAS program. So we double click on the batch file. It runs, and then we go to the final area, double click, and there you can see it's been updated. The date's been updated, the cells that have been supposed to be merged have been merged, and the chart has been updated. Now we'll close this down, and we'll make some changes to the master copy. We've changed the master copy somewhat by removing the grid lines first of all, adding company logo, some titles, as well as making a few more cosmetic changes. In this case, what we'd like to do is just change the date because we don't really need to have the day in there as well. It will look better if we don't have that. The other thing we'd like to do is to show you how easy it is to make changes to your final production reports. In this case, we'll add another chart. Just paste it there. We will change the title. It's online percent. And we'll just slide the data line over there. We could also make it look a little bit better. With all the features that Excel has to offer, we'll add a little bit of shadow to that and a little bit of shadow to the original chart. We'll close it, and then we'll close the Excel spreadsheet, the master copy. We'll save the changes, and then we'll run it for February. Here's the February batch file. Go to the final, open it up, and here's our February report. The date's been updated, the cells have been merged appropriately, the formulas have been updated, and the charts have been updated. Now I'd like to show you what the data file looks like for February. You can see we have the first tag name, date, and the date appears here. Then we've got a blank line. This separates different tags. And we've got the second tag name, grid 1, followed by some of the headings. Notice that we have the formula to tell Excel interface that there will be no data there, but there are some calculations. And here's the data, followed by these null fields. Again, to tell Excel interface that there are calculations in this table. We go down, and here we have a blank line, and then chart 1 with all the data that chart 1 needs. Excel interface will automatically generate the code to produce a CSV or XML file, the two file formats that Excel interface uses, from either a SQL Server or from a SAS program. What's more, Excel interface will automatically generate a data specification form that you can submit to your IT department so that they can generate your data files. And again, a nice looking report, all completely automated using Excel interface. Now what I'd like to do is go back to the master copy and add a little bit more to it. In this case, what I'd like to do is add another chart. So we just highlight the areas we would like to have. This time, let's have year-to-date sales. We'll do this, and then we'll insert. And this time, let's use a column chart. Look at all the various different column features you have, and we'll go with a cylinder. Very simple process using Excel because of the incredible features it has. We won't need a legend for this. I'll change the size a little bit. We can add a title, for example. I'll put it above the chart, and let's call it year-to-date sales. And we'll put it the same font and coloring as the other charts. Now that it's, again, a whole host of different things you can do with Excel and their charting formats. In this case, why don't we do a little 3D rotation? That might be interesting. Let's see what it looks like. Online, you can just real-time change the chart around any way you want to using Excel. We'll do that, and then some shadow, go to presets, we'll give it some of that. And then what I'd like to do is perhaps change the formats or the font size for the legend. Again, very easy. 8, and Let's format the data series and fill, and we want to vary colors by point. There. So we've created a nice column chart in our master copy. Shut it down. We will save the changes. And this time what I'd like to do is to go to the batch area, go to the March batch file, and we've changed that from an Excel format that it was in February to PDF. Excel interface can produce reports not only in Excel and PDF, but also in HTML and PowerPoint. We'll simply double click on the March. It runs all by itself. You can have this running overnight or any time you want it. And we'll go to the March file. And here's our report. Imagine how long it would take you to produce a report like this with all the changes we have done in real time using a proprietary coding techniques required for many production reporting tools. Very nice looking report, easily prepared, that can be run at any time without any manual intervention whatsoever. I'd now like to show you some production reports that have actually been produced using Excel interface. These are just a few examples of the many reports that have been automated using Excel interface. In some cases, these reports were manually updated every month by business analysts who would take data from a variety of different sources. In other cases, there were production tools that were used to produce these reports. These were expensive and highly sophisticated production tools that were really used just as glorified report writers. Excel interface was able to eliminate this application layer and save the institution significant amounts of money. If you would like more information about Excel interface, please contact Ivan or John at the emails shown below. Thank you very much for your interest in Excel interface.